Hi, I'm James from Team Snapdragons, and today we're joined by a very special guest live at the Court in Brisbane. We are joined by the man on the ground behind all of the coverage that we watch every weekend. The biggest Love Isles fan in the world, Mr. Ethan Man Sant. How are you today? Would you like to tell us how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. I really love Australia. I've been putting out tweets about it actually, how much I love Australia. It's a bit uncanny. I heard that you have good things about Australia. That's not what we're here for. I am straight off the back of, like you said, man on the ground. It's been, what? I go to Montreal, Toulouse here, Memphis next week. Record breakers almost every time. And so, obviously, that's feeling it. It is just so cool that every single show does something better and better for the professional world.
That is the thing. We've seen the numbers going up and up and up, and the production value has matched that 100%. We've seen better production, better commentators, better views, just everything engaged in the fans. And I would like to credit quite a lot of that. So first of all, in your own words, what do you actually do at LSS? What do you actually do?
Yeah, I wish you wrote an answer down for me because I don't quite have it off the top of my head. I'd say my role at LSS in title is at least like technical and something along those lines, where the technical side of the production, both what it takes on the ground and in prep, and also in just like knowledge of the space and research that you have to do, like all that is my domain. I mean, it's something I kind of had my own personal journey to get to, so it's a bit all-encompassing because I think, it's a role I grew into. It's a role that I'm not sure has quite like a ceiling to it either. You just try to keep getting better because ultimately the show can always be better. So if you can think it, if you can figure it out, then you can make it happen. So that's generally what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. I mean, we talked a bit about your like in the actual role itself. What was your journey to actually get into the teaching itself? How did you find yourself with
Yeah, well, maybe if you're old-time viewers of Flash Blood content or even like the early live streams, that has been a pretty public journey of what I really did to get here. I was a huge fan of Flash Blood first and foremost, and also a big fan of honestly strong productions across the board. Like I would, whether I played League or not, always watch the World Championship. Whether I was playing Pokemon or not, always watch their regionals, things like this. And so to be a Flesh and Blood fan and tune in and watch coverage, that really kind of inspired me to get in on it. I mean, it was early days. When I started playing Flesh and Blood in the US. Like, just first of all, I really wasn't around yet. And really, man, those were early days of Flesh and Blood. If you go back, it's like hard to find coverage from that game because there wasn't like that central YouTube necessarily. Things like that just weren't in place yet. So to kind of grow alongside that, try it myself, right? With a rig sometimes quite like this, a little lightweight, maybe just a phone in the beginning, but then to scale it up to add casters, to add multiple camera angles, to add some of the like kind of that live production flourish that different scenes where you're doing, and some marketing that I had to do for Savage Fates first and foremost, just to get sponsors to fund the trip to the next show on and on until finally landing like the full-time contract role with LSS to do it in their group. I mean, now there's a whole team that gets into it, and it's just made a better and better product. The roadmap, honestly, it's a pretty slow roadmap. Just go back 2-3 years, and things were very different. So yeah, we've just all grown up together. That's what it feels like. Like everyone has the community, the streams,
So what does that kind of look like outside of that? What is there like a background in you guys think of production? Like, is there like an ultimate career path more reporters?
Well, before this, I was doing my master's in speech pathology, which has not translated to anything in this world. I'm not even a pastor. The speech path that I learned, all the articulation, means nothing. But it was, I don't know, maybe just like the understanding of, I guess I don't know, I have to think about this. I was doing my master's in music, and that really changed a lot of like what I was doing in person to this like digital lens, where all of a sudden you can't go to speech clinic anymore, you can't meet with your patients in person. A lot of people you work with, those were the at-risk groups. So there was this very sudden shift to using a digital space to get this done. And in the speech pathway, there was just not much. Like, there was not a plan for any of them. And both children and old people are like the two demographics who don't know tech very well. So I feel like what I just kind of understood anyway in being relatively young, like growing up with the internet, playing video games and things like that, just being slightly more tech savvy, was a space that I did have to kind of learn more just by nature of and finding passion as a content creator alongside that at the time was really where like the two worlds combined. Where hold up, I'm like trying to figure out how to make like the digital space better for my clients, and I'm also trying to make like YouTube videos better for my viewers, and somehow it all like swirl together. It's a lot of like how does it happen, to be honest, but it all then swirled together into really committing to being as self-taught as possible, using as many resources out there as possible, talking to other people, being really passionate about it. That really taught me what I need to know. Not everything, but what I need to know, and then has fueled that want to learn more and more. And I think being very adaptable and being very like open to knowing that there's never really a ceiling because you have to learn to apply technology is constantly changing. Different programs might be better than what you're used to. Do you make the change? Do you not? Like what content creators are emerging that you can maybe reach out to, like learn what they're doing, their processes maybe are the same, maybe they're different. But it's the digital age. It's very easy to just copy everything. And I think you just need to be maybe a little bit hungry for it. But you can figure out.
There's this old expression in judging that I used to hear a lot. It's not about knowing the answer, it's about knowing how to find the answer. How you're talking about developing that system of habits over time, with developing very much like reflects that attitude.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, look, the job on the ground is a lot of troubleshooting anyway. In a way, like that is troubleshooting in its own way. You just have to be very adaptable, ready to learn what you don't know, and just know that, there's always one.
And then, of course, you're one of the most prominent content creators. You're over 8,000 subscribers, 300 videos strong. How do you feel like you're journey with content creation? What you've accomplished so far? Really something.
Well, I mean, that means there's 8,000 Leviathans. I don't know if it really means anything about me. It's just been a roller coaster on that front. I mean, there are times where I thought I'd put the YouTube channel down just because all of a sudden like this became a lot of work. But ultimately, what I think the YouTube channel comes back to is it's just like an outlet for how much passion not only I have for Levia, a lot of people have for Levia. Like, you just can't shake her. There is almost no other hero where you could have that level of like depth and commitment. I mean, like another hero from that time. If you had someone all in on chain, what would you do? If you picked Bolton, I don't even know if you could be that into Bolton because at the end of the day, just like draw Levia. But Levia specifically has so much depth. She can run so hot, so cold. She can feel like the best deck ever. But then you can't convince anyone she's the best deck ever. So then you try to convince people, but then she looks like the worst deck ever. So you have to go back to the beginning. That hero is maddeningly addictive as is, and that's where I just got lucky. It's not like I knew that hero when I started. I started because my friends were playing well, so I picked Levia. But she specifically has been like she's that cool mistress where like you just can't shake her. She doesn't give you much, but you just gotta like keep coming back. And that's exactly what I think I've thought about stopping now and again, slowing down a little bit. But I actually think I'm most consistent more than I've ever been now, even when I have the least amount of time to spend on the YouTube channel, just because it is that outlet. The feedback has been so amazing. Of just, yeah, people just appreciate it. People love artists. Maybe they don't love next time. I don't even know if I love next time. Tomorrow night, it's like Levia's lyrics. There's not any other way where you can say people's lyrics.
So we think that's something that's like some aspects that like it's a girl in this game like have that relationship with maybe that's part of the reason that people are able to subscribe.
I would hope so. I mean, that's what got me. I think Levia specifically, what gripped me so strongly with her was that evolution from like young to old. The thematics on that front felt so unique. Like, what other card game can you follow up with a hero who has their story like played out of the character? Actually, I don't know. Maybe other games have this. I don't know. But like literally right in front of you, you are drawn in by like, what is this story? And somehow the gameplay also makes you ask that question. I'm not saying every hero has that, but the fact that it can exist in flexible and feel so real and actually like is so real, that's the best part.
I mean, what would you say to those who want to improve that and go on to something? What would you say to them? Maybe a looking at YouTube videos, how do they get better?
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact community, people shout it out all the time as being like one of the more welcoming, positive communities of TCG space. I can't speak to every TCG, but for example, like the scale in which fab content creators are, no one's unreachable. You can just ask. You will see the biggest content creator at an event. Like, you'll see the performance, talk to them. You'll see me, you'll see you. Just talk to them. I think if you really want to improve, then you've got to make friends. But I think like you're in fab because you want to make friends. You want to make after all. Like look, we make questions right there. And who knows? If I want to learn something new, I can just go ask. I think that's like we're all so brought together by this game. I think most people absolutely share collabs if you want. Things like that. It's a community that like really wants everyone to succeed. That's how it is.
Who are the three creators you'd say getting to that point that you'd say project?
My almost number one all time, it's hilarious because he's actually here today. I was a bit starstruck. Clue TCG, Clue is Australian. You know Clue? Doesn't even know Clue. This guy, I don't know what it is about him, but he's so like math-centered in his approach to festival, where that's just not how my brain works. But he will approach topics by crunching the numbers and like bring up spreadsheets and be entertaining through the way he like breaks things down. And he's got a bit of a personality. You know, he's got his famous intros. Like there are all the ingredients are there to be like a very successful, unique, like standout content creator. The scale is just still small right now. But I see a lot of potential. And I met him today. It was very cool. So I really like QTCG. He's great. That's number one. I would say number two, and they're probably big enough they don't need a shout out at this point, but I really appreciate the grind from Runaways. They have a lot of different fronts they're trying to tackle right now, but one of my favorites is specifically Noah and Josh. Like the live streams they're doing are not the typical product you would expect out of a team with that kind of almost like closed doors in a way, like the way that they test, like the secrets that they want to like bring, like this, the deck list that they're like going to bring in secret to an event, trying to take it by storm. Like the way that a normal team would operate, a lot of that is falling away. And instead, like Noah and Josh are pushing this more approachable, like way to interact with runaways that I think is really cool. I'm no longer on the team, but by watching the stream, I feel like I can engage so much more with like what this team is actually doing through the way that they are so chat centric and like so open to learning the decks and talk about deck building, like be a bit of a coach on air, be very personal, be very funny. I think that vibe has been awesome to see out of like one of the most premier like teams. So specifically them, sort of not shutting out the podcast. They don't need no thanks. And then third, let's see. There are some lore channels out there that I think are really trying to shape the assumption that Flushmore doesn't have as much lore as it does. It actually does. There's a whole book, right? There's a whole book. There are a lot of these articles that get released. Sometimes it's at a hero page that has a story here and there. Sometimes it's even like tied to a picture of like the side of one of the death matches or like added more to that. Like it is a bit scattered. It's not necessarily centralized, but there are a couple of channels that really have been more centric. And with like Hogan's kicking around, it's I think piques some interest in people wanting to go back and see if there's any Easter eggs needed, like when was this character referenced, this, that, whatever. That have been pretty exciting to rediscover. Like they keep popping up in my feed as like suggested videos and stuff. There's a couple. Honestly, like names specifically. But yeah, come on, more is this? Yeah, it's good. You just need to watch it. If you watch it, then it's more popular and there's more of it and everything on it. Because the lore is actually, it exists. It exists, I promise. I've seen it.
You're a notorious post-event dinner. What's been like the key meal and standout for that's like been like
most unique experience? Well, calling Shanghai is coming up, so I'm sure that specifically will be the most unique. I've already got a list of restaurants that people are just going to. So Shanghai is one of those places, like some of the best food. So that's coming. That's coming. But in the history I have now with these post-events, I think specifically one of the worst decisions I made around these dinners was having it a bit too early. There's all these celebration dinners that tend to happen like towards the end of the event. I remember, I believe it was at Levia Taipei, where we decided to have our like big feast on the Thursday night. And in Taiwan, there's alcohol. I believe it's just called 500. Does it even have a name? Something like this. Where quite literally it will strip your throat, and you will not feel human after the fact. But I went one for one with Nick Butcher at a Din Tai Fung dinner on that Thursday night, and then was not 100% for the next day where we had or the next day when we had or the next day when we had Taipei. It was celebrated a little too hard. So my advice on that would be wait till the end. The dinners are amazing. You're going to be able to get food wherever you want. A bunch of friends outside. But Din Tai Fung specifically gets a shout out. I love Taiwanese food. Just everyone around the table, ordering what you want, drinking, having fun with friends. That vibe is what we chase. More than what it was like. It's just try to recreate that vibe. And the event, I'm very lucky to be at pretty much every event to almost make that my weekly. I think I spent too much money on those dinners, to be honest. So that's quite fun. It's wonderful dinners.
Of course, we kind of have to discuss this. Obviously, a lot going on with the Herald leaving this week. What do you think she needs to kind of round out the powerhouse?
Well, I don't think she'll ever get the powerhouse format simply because there are inconsistencies in that deck that quite literally can't be overcome. She's one of those heroes where if the representation is there, then like the success would follow. Simply because it's almost like the Asylum problem, where the deck is good enough, but it will never be like the one singular player that shows up. You need representation to kind of cover the faults that the hero like otherwise has. And Levia just, I don't think she'll ever be as popular as even like Vincent after like 1 month from June. You need more reps. Like she's never going to be inflated with the month deck and show up in mass. So unless that kind of fear surrounding her, this like the stigma around her just being like deck and stuff like this, unless that can really be shaken, and I'm telling you that does happen. But if that could be shaken through card support or through general sense or whatever, then maybe she actually would get enough representation to actually convert. But I just don't think that will happen, and therefore the conversion just will be terrible. And it'll be once in a blue moon, like it was when she top 8 includes her against like the one top 8 in freaking ever, and she's been out like 5 years. So that will always be an issue. But on a card pool basis, I actually really think you can build really strong decks right now. I think Exegor is more powerful than most people give it credit for. There are just flaws with, like, maybe it's the anti-synergy would be like the main thing I always struggle with, like the anti-synergy between Exegor working with the Deadly Hero doing like less frequency or the Viral Team. Like I don't even know if it is a card that can band-aid all that together, because like as of now, those are not 3 synergistic places, and yet the way you build the deck right now, they are all in your deck. But there is not that glue between the 3 to make them work. Whereas in Claws, you had more of that, I could go consume this route and just push for a full Black Blood Rush to win the game. Or I could really draw this out, push to redeem and like win by weapon attrition, because I have Claws and I have Field Life and we're in a game state where like that really wins. X-Core does not work with like either side of that as of now. I don't know what will change. So that's where I am hung up on seeing success. Like I really want Levia to be Deadly Hero centric. It is so cool to sit down and not really know which way the wind is going to play. But when you sit down and play Exegor, you know for a fact that it's not going to work 100% either way. And that is a strange thing.
I'm about to pronounce this out. That was great if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more from us, please give us a like and subscribe. If you want to see more from the movement, you can catch them on this channel, which will be linked below, but also like every weekend running the show.
Yep. I'm losing it. You're seeing me afraid on the edges because this is a 4-week run right now. But it's all for Fleshpoint community, and this year is going to be really great things. We already have, and I really feel like I just have you and that's because you guys make it worth it.
Thanks for watching, guys. Please enjoy it. Please check it out.